How to be competitive. People always say that you're either born competitive or not. I think that is complete BS. I think that you can cultivate competitiveness. And maybe you don't want to cultivate it, but for the specific person that I'm trying to help with this video, you are a type A person. You work hard and you have that ethic down and you want to achieve great things and you know that you will achieve extraordinary things. That's who I'm talking to with this video. And maybe you haven't experienced a life where you've been super competitive. Maybe you didn't play sports. Maybe you didn't have siblings to compete with. Maybe you didn't have, an environment that cultivated competitiveness. Maybe that's not the way you grew up. Maybe that's not the way that you kind of viewed the world. But regardless of how you grew up, having the muscle of being competitive is necessary in the world as an adult, as you grow up, because naturally the world is competitive. The world is out to absolutely destroy you, right? Your competition is out there to crush you. Other people want to beat you and be better than you and have a better life than you. It's the truth. It's a silent competition almost where everyone else is trying to beat each other, but all smiley and happy and trying to be respectful to each other whenever they're amongst each other. But in reality, it's just a really intense, silent competition amongst people. Dude, my nose is so itchy. So how do you do it? How do you be competitive? Like, especially for the person that's not necessarily wired that way. For the people that are wired that way, it's super easy, obviously. It just makes sense to us. I'm that way, right? I personally am extremely competitive. I always want to win at absolutely everything. I will go to great lengths to ensure that I win, that I come out on top, and I'm just better than everyone else. Like, I'm genuinely that way for certain things. So I'm naturally a competitive person. But for some people, you're not that person. So this is how you actually prepare yourself to deal with these kind of people and to, get yourself onto a level playing field with them, with other competitive people in a competitive world. The first principle is to be around people that are better than you. This is probably the one thing that I want you to take away from this video. It's surround yourself with amazing people and they lift you up. They force you to reach their level, right? It's a psychological thing. Whenever you surround yourself with people that are better than you within your job, within school, within your work, within your business, in the gym, whatever it is, if you work out with someone that's way stronger than you or works or just goes to failure way more often than you or just works harder than you in the gym, then naturally you're going to want to try to meet up to their level. You want to get up to their level, right? It's just wired into our brains, right? The more time you spend around these people, the more like them you become. And so if you are able to surround yourself with these people, then naturally you are given an incentive to rise and keep rising because they give you they give you a level to get to. And I know it's tough to find these kind of people in the world because they all kind of have their friend groups and you have to almost like leave behind yours to find these people, but it's worthy. It's a worthy sacrifice because typically the people that are better than you at the thing typically tend to be higher quality on average, higher quality in terms of, their seriousness. They care about certain things more deeply than just your average Joe that's just okay at something. They care a lot more deeply. They care more about not necessarily the typical material desires or vanity or anything like that that you might care about or the people that you're around now might care about. They care about something greater. They care about they're pushing their limits, going beyond, achieving something extraordinary, making good products, working on their body, like actually caring about their health and their diet, whatever it is, right? Whatever it is that you value, align your circle of people with that and find people that are better than you, that people that inspire you to do more, to become more, right? That's the first principle. And the next one is just have goals. I know it sounds super cliche, but it's the truth, right? You need to have goals to work towards. Otherwise, you're never going to have a reason to compete. And when you have goals, it adds another layer, right? So you can surround yourself all day with other people, but if you don't have goals, then you're never going to get anywhere. But when you have goals, you have a direction, and when you have a direction, there's somewhere that you can make progress. There's a line or there's a bar, right? You can imagine goals as a bar that you can fulfill, and you can see the progress stacking up. And whenever you see that progress stacking up, it's so fulfilling, right? It gives you a reason to keep showing up and to keep doing the thing. So you need the goals. You need to have something that you're working towards. And the bonus thing that you get from having goals, clear defined goals within a time frame, is you add more competition through yourself. You're competing with yourself. You're giving yourself a reason to keep showing up because you got to beat yourself, like the previous version of yourself, and just keep leveling up, right? And you see the progress. And it's really just an internal destiny, right? None of the other people that are around you are going to really care as much about your goals as you. So you kind of have to become the person, the master that has to constantly improve, constantly study, constantly learn, constantly put in the work to just get better. Just get better and even better and better and better and compete against yourself. And that is arguably one of the most important forms of competition. It's being able to view yourself in a almost negative way, but in a healthy negative way, right? View yourself as just inferior, as incompetent, and give yourself a reason to compete against yourself. Give yourself every excuse to work harder than last time. And that is a pretty important principle, I'd say, to reach that level where you have so much respect for yourself that you just want to get even better, that you just want to compete against your past self. And then finally, you want positive reinforcement. This is deeply rooted in psychology. You need to have something that gives you dopamine, that gives you a motivator to keep doing the thing, right? There's those studies, the rat studies, where if you put the rat in the water and it fucking... Wait, no, that's the wrong study. Never mind, I'm tripping. I've been listening to too many podcasts, obviously. It's the idea behind whenever you are... Oh, this is what it was. This is the analogy. So if you're told to hold your breath for 3 minutes, you can do it. It's possible. Like, you know that you only need to do this pain for 3 minutes. It might really, really suck. You'll feel like passing out, fainting maybe. But it's doable, right? You can see the end. But whenever you're told to just hold your breath, and like, instead of a timer, it's a stopwatch. So it's an indefinite amount of time, and you're just like kind of getting nervous because you don't know how long you have to do this for. You don't know how much pain you're gonna have to go through. Are you gonna die? Like, what's gonna happen? And this is the idea behind having a clear, tangible outcome, right? So if you know that you're gonna only have to do it for 3 minutes, then it's doable. But whenever you don't know how long it is, then you probably want to quit earlier. You probably don't want to like persist. You probably won't last for 3 minutes whenever you're trying to hold your breath for an indefinite amount of time. But if you are told you only need to do it for 3 minutes, then you can probably achieve it, right? And so this is the idea behind positive reinforcement. You need to set yourself a clear reward for doing something, right? A clear goal and then a clear reward for achieving that goal. Because otherwise, there's no reason for you to do it. It's like an indefinite adventure. There is value in having no positive reinforcement sometimes, just whipping yourself constantly. But I think for the type A person, for the person that already works hard, that has the ethic, that wants to just achieve great things, you need to have the positive reinforcement more than anybody else. The type B person that needs the work ethic doesn't need any more positive reinforcement. They already give it to themselves. You need to positively reinforce yourself. You need to give yourself breaks. You need to give yourself a little pat on the back sometimes, for doing something good, for achieving something. Because honestly, we don't, at least I in my life, don't take the time to appreciate how far I've come, to appreciate the progress, to actually think to myself, oh, I've done something cool here. I've actually put in work here for something meaningful, and I should be proud of that. I should celebrate that in a way. So I'm not saying go out and waste a bunch of time and waste a bunch of money on a huge celebration or anything like that. It can be a small reward. It could be a break. You just need to give yourself some positive reinforcement, and that makes the competitiveness a lot easier to come by, especially when you're around other people that are obviously also competing. So in a competitive world, even if you're not competitive, you need to learn how to be it. You need to learn how to stay in the race. And to do that, you need to first surround yourself with people that are better than you. You got to have goals, and then you got to give yourself a reward for achieving those goals. It's not complicated. It's very simple, actually, and I hope that this helps at least a little bit.